Hello again, AI legends. So if you're not aware, this week the Gemini CLI tool has been released or dropped, and I'm just all over it. I'm just really testing it out, and here I'm gonna share kind of my thoughts about this and what I'm using it for. So I'm gonna share like the 4 use cases that I'm already actively using it. Yeah, so it's really easy to get started here. If you see earlier, just do an npm install, and if you have Node, then you can go right to your terminal already. So there are some things to note. So you need to have some authentication if you want to use it more than the free tier. So login by a Google account, or I've connected it to my GCP project. That's a quick one. They have a really generous free tier, as I understand it anyway, and it's really speedy. You hardly hit 20 sort of rate limits. Yeah. So here, like first off, I think first off is the agentic capabilities. I think that's one of the best things that the CLI brings. So you just imagine that instead of having Gemini or ChatGPT on a web browser, now it's kind of living within your local or a bit more integrated in that sense. So that kind of avoids you from just copy pasting from your code to Gemini 2.5. I can just access it directly locally or get it integrated right into Cursor. So I really love that. And here, when I'm setting off into my repos, already going through, reading through the code in the repo, and then giving me a summary of what the stack is within. And I'm pushing it further here to ask for changes, which you can do to the code. It's already detecting that in this project where I'm using the MetJama model, I'm pulling it from a particular space in Hugging Face, the Onslaught version, and I'm asking to change to a Gemma 3 model, so it's already going off to where this can be done. And if you see closely at some point, it even goes off to do a tool use, which is a Google search for the latest model for geometry on the Hugging Face space. So I think it's really cool. Um, it also has like other capabilities like hooking up to MCP servers, setting system prompts. So if you set a Gemini MD, then you can save some of your preferences in there. So really cool stuff. So here's the 2 years coming up. Just have a look, and it's really yeah. So the second use case that I'm also using it for is for uh, DevOps and architecture. So, those kind of G Cloud commands can never really memorize all of them. And so this makes it way easier to kind of deploy stuff. Um, I really love it here. So in this kind of example here, I'm just setting off to ask Gemini to deploy a static website mm, on Cloud Run, and I've given it extra tasks to set up a load balancer in front of it, and it's pretty cool. So it's going off to even provision the serverless NAC. So say that's how you connect the load balancer to the Cloud Run in the backend, and it's also setting up automatically and pretty smartly the external IP address that needs to be reserved and the load balancer backend as well. So really autonomous, and it covers quite a lot of stuff. So third thing here, I'm using it already is for the data science workflows. Um, this is quite a heavy one in my day to day. And I mean, with just data science, there's a lot of back and forth, I find. So going through the variable names, going through documentation, and then flipping over to a different tab which contains my code, and then going to write my code, and then flipping over to another tab which contains my documentation, and then another tab which contains the test. So there's quite a lot of a context switching here, and that kind of slows me down. But here, uh, there's a way to make Gemini work across multiple files directly, and just give it a prompt. You can even tag files like how you do in Cursor. So here I'm just chaining everything all at once. So go asking Gemini to look through the documentation, change the code, update the my to-do list, and I haven't tried the test, but yes, you can go and get it to do all of it at once right in your terminal. And here I'm using it in Cursor, so that's really cool. What I like also is that you can edit the file together with Gemini. So say I'm working on a different section of the file, that works really well too. So you can already do this in Cursor. Here I show you that what it looks like. You can tag the files and give the prompts via this GUI. The only thing is I find that the CLI is a lot more intuitive, a lot more natural. So I can navigate everything just via the keyboard. I don't need to use the mouse at all. And that's a really big plus for me. The GUI does work, but it's a bit more clunk. It's a bit slower for me. And you don't get that nice sort of colors and themes, which really kind of works for me and kind of boosts my productivity. Yeah. So yeah, I spoke about this to-do list here. So that's the last workflow that I use it for. And I'm gonna check out the MCP servers for Gemini CLI as well. But we'll see you AI legends in the next one.